What if the one character fans thought was gone forever is actually the key to everything that's about to break apart? Season 9 does not open with comfort or calm. It opens with a question that refuses to stay quiet. Charlie is back, and this time, her return is not a reunion. It is a warning. Season 9 Episode 1 of Hudson and Rex begins with a feeling that something is off long before anyone says it out loud. The city feels heavier, the silence lasts longer, and even before a case fully forms, the story makes it clear that this season is playing by new rules. This is not just another crime to solve. This is a past that never truly stayed buried. The episode slowly pulls the audience into a sense of unease, reminding us that the most dangerous moments are often the ones that feel familiar at first. Everything looks the same on the surface, but underneath, something has shifted. Charlie's return is not framed as a happy surprise. It is framed as a disruption. Her name alone carries weight because of what she represents: unfinished business, unanswered questions, and emotional gaps that were never healed. The episode treats her absence like a scar the team learned to live with, not something they ever forgot. When the confirmation of her return finally lands, it does not come with celebration. It comes with shock, hesitation, and silence. That silence matters because it tells us this return was not expected and maybe not even wanted by everyone involved. What makes this opening powerful is how carefully it builds tension without rushing. There is no rush to explain where Charlie has been or why she is back. Instead, the episode focuses on reactions. Faces change. Conversations stop mid-sentence. Small looks say more than words ever could. The story trusts the audience to understand that history exists here, and that history is complicated. Charlie is not just walking back into the story. She is walking back into wounds that never fully closed. The episode also makes it clear that this return is tied to something bigger than emotion alone. There is a sense that her reappearance lines up too perfectly with the case unfolding. That timing feels intentional, almost suspicious. It raises an uncomfortable question right at the start of the season. Is Charlie back because she chose to be, or because she had no other option? That question hangs over every moment, creating tension that follows the characters from scene to scene. By the end of this section of the story, one thing is certain. Season 9 is not about restoring balance. It is about testing it. Charlie's return is not meant to fix the past. It is meant to challenge everything the team believes they have already survived. And if this is only the beginning, then what comes next will not be easy, clean, or predictable. Charlie's return in Season 9 Episode 1 is handled with a quiet confidence that makes it even more powerful. The show does not rush to explain her absence or soften her reappearance. Instead, it allows the weight of her presence to settle slowly, forcing both the characters and the audience to sit with the discomfort. Charlie does not walk back into the story as someone who was simply away. She returns as someone changed, carrying things she is not ready to share. That choice alone signals that this season is interested in consequences, not convenience. What stands out immediately is how carefully the episode avoids giving easy answers. Charlie does not offer a clear story about where she has been or what she has faced. Her words are measured, her expressions guarded. This creates distance, not just between her and the team, but between her and the version of herself viewers remember. The show makes it clear that time has passed in a way that matters. Whatever Charlie went through reshaped her, and that transformation is central to the story moving forward. The reaction from those around her adds another layer of tension. There is relief mixed with doubt, warmth mixed with fear. Some characters clearly want to believe that everything can go back to how it was, but the episode quietly pushes against that hope. Charlie herself seems aware that her return disrupts a balance that took years to rebuild. She watches more than she speaks. She listens carefully, almost like she is trying to understand whether she still belongs in this world she left behind. The episode also hints that Charlie's return was not random. Small details suggest planning, pressure, and timing that feels too perfect to ignore. The case unfolding alongside her arrival mirrors parts of her past in unsettling ways. This parallel creates the sense that Charlie is connected to the larger mystery in a way that has not yet been revealed. The show does not say this directly, but it does not need to. The structure of the story makes it clear that her return and the danger facing the team are linked. What makes this section especially strong is how it respects the audience's intelligence. Instead of spelling out motivations, it lets viewers read between the lines. Charlie's pauses, her hesitation, and her choice of words all point to secrets that are still locked away. There is also a subtle suggestion that she may not be telling the full truth, not because she wants to lie, but because the truth might be too heavy to share all at once. By the time this part of the episode settles, Charlie feels less like a returning hero and more like a catalyst. Her presence begins to change conversations, priorities, and emotional rhythms within the team. Old trust is tested, and new doubts quietly take root. Season 9 uses her return not as a moment of closure, but as an opening. An opening into unresolved pain, unfinished stories, and choices that were delayed but never escaped. This makes it clear that Charlie's role this season is not about nostalgia. It is about reckoning. As Season 9 Episode 1 moves forward, the real shift becomes clear. Charlie's return is not just emotional, it changes how every situation is read and understood. Conversations start to carry double meaning. Decisions that once felt simple now feel loaded. The episode slowly reveals that the past is no longer something the team can keep behind them. It is active again, shaping choices in real time. This is where the story stops being about surprise and starts being about consequence. The twist connected to Charlie is not loud or dramatic in the usual way. There is no single moment where everything explodes at once. Instead, the twist unfolds through realization. The audience begins to understand that Charlie knows more than she is saying, and that her return may be tied to a threat that never truly went away. This changes the emotional balance of the episode. Trust becomes uncertain. Loyalty is no longer automatic. Even silence starts to feel suspicious. What makes this twist so effective is how personal it feels. This is not just a case that happened to cross Charlie's path. It feels like something that followed her, something that waited for the right moment to resurface. The episode suggests that danger does not always arrive suddenly. Sometimes it waits patiently, allowing people to believe they are safe before stepping back into their lives. That idea gives the story a darker tone and raises the stakes without needing constant action. The team's dynamic begins to shift in small but meaningful ways. People start questioning not just Charlie's choices, but their own past decisions. Were warning signs ignored? Were mistakes buried instead of addressed? The episode uses Charlie as a mirror, forcing everyone to look at what they chose to move on from too quickly. This is where the twist truly changes everything. It turns the focus inward, making the threat feel emotional as well as physical. There is also a strong sense that this twist is only the first layer. The episode does not resolve the tension it creates. Instead, it lets it grow. Each interaction adds another crack to the sense of stability the team worked so hard to rebuild. Charlie's presence makes it impossible to pretend that the past was clean or simple. It suggests that unfinished stories do not disappear just because time passes. By the end of this section, the audience understands that Season 9 is not about repeating old patterns. It is about breaking them. Charlie's return exposes truths that were hidden, intentionally or not, and those truths demand to be faced. The twist does not just change the direction of the case. It changes how the team sees itself. From this point on, nothing can be handled the same way it was before, because the illusion of safety is gone. By the time Season 9 Episode 1 reaches this stage, the emotional impact of Charlie's return begins to settle in deeper ways. It is no longer just about shock or mystery. It is about how every bond within the team starts to feel slightly strained. Charlie is physically present, but emotionally, there is distance. Not because she does not care, but because she is protecting something inside herself. The episode makes it clear that whatever she went through changed how she connects with people, and that change cannot be undone overnight. Charlie's behavior shows a quiet tension. She stays alert, even in moments that should feel safe. Her eyes scan rooms before she speaks. She listens more than she talks. These details matter because they show that her instincts are still in survival mode. The story suggests that her past did not simply pause while she was gone. It followed her, shaped her, and left marks that are still fresh. This makes her return feel heavy, as if she brought more than memories back with her. Hudson's response to Charlie is layered and complicated. There is relief that she is alive and standing in front of him, but that relief is mixed with confusion. He senses that she is holding back, and that uncertainty creates emotional friction. The episode avoids dramatic confrontation and instead focuses on. As Season 9, Episode 1 continues, the story begins to reveal that Charlie's return is tied to something far more dangerous than unresolved emotions. A new threat quietly takes shape, not announced through chaos, but through patterns that feel too familiar to ignore. The case unfolding does not feel random. It feels targeted. Every clue, every strange detail points toward a danger that understands the team better than they expect. This is not just another criminal situation. It is personal in a way that cuts close to the bone. What makes this threat unsettling is how patient it feels. There is no rush, no loud warning. Instead, the episode suggests that someone has been watching, waiting, and learning. This sense of being observed adds a layer of fear that goes beyond physical risk. It creates emotional pressure, making the team question what information is safe to share and who can truly be trusted. The idea that danger may already be inside their circle lingers heavily over every decision. Charlie's connection to this threat becomes harder to ignore. Small reactions, brief pauses, and guarded answers suggest she recognizes parts of this situation. She does not confirm anything directly, but the way she responds implies history. The episode uses this uncertainty to build tension, allowing the audience to wonder whether Charlie is running from something or standing in front of it by choice. Either option carries serious consequences. The case itself reflects this growing danger. It is more complex, more layered, and emotionally charged in ways that mirror Charlie's return. There are moments where the investigation seems to echo past events, almost as if history is repeating itself with new faces. This repetition makes it clear that the threat is not just external. It is rooted in choices made long ago, choices that were never fully resolved. The team begins to realize that solving this case will require more than skill or experience. It will require honesty, even when honesty hurts. The episode hints that some truths, once revealed, could change how the team sees each other forever. This raises the stakes beyond success or failure. It turns the investigation into a test of integrity and courage. By the end of this section, the message is clear. Season 9 is building toward a larger, more dangerous story arc. Charlie's return is not an isolated event. It is the opening move in a much bigger game. The threat ahead is not just about catching someone or stopping a crime. It is about confronting the past before it destroys the present. And if the team cannot face what is coming together, the cost may be higher than any of them are ready to pay. As the episode reaches its final movement, Season 9, Episode 1 makes its true intention clear. This is not a simple continuation of the past. It is a reset built on tension, uncertainty, and hard choices. Everything introduced so far begins to align into a larger picture, one where Charlie's return is only the first piece of a much longer and more demanding journey. The episode does not aim to provide comfort. It aims to prepare the audience for a season where stability is fragile and safety is never guaranteed. Charlie's presence now feels permanent, but not secure. The story suggests that staying will be harder than leaving ever was. Her return forces unresolved issues to the surface, not just for her, but for everyone around her. The team must now decide whether they can move forward together without full clarity, or if the need for truth will eventually tear them apart. This emotional uncertainty becomes the foundation of the season, shaping how future cases will unfold. Season 9 also signals a shift in tone. The threats ahead are not just physical dangers that can be solved within an episode. They are ongoing pressures that build over time. The episode hints at long-term consequences, showing that some actions taken now will echo later in unexpected ways. This makes every choice feel heavier, more deliberate. The show is clearly asking its characters and its audience to pay attention to the small moments because those moments will matter. The dynamic between the team begins to evolve in subtle but important ways. Trust is no longer assumed. It must be earned again, step by step. This does not mean the bonds are broken, but it does mean they are being tested. The episode presents this testing as necessary, not cruel. Growth, it suggests, comes from facing discomfort rather than avoiding it. Charlie's return becomes the catalyst for this growth, even if the process is painful. What stands out most in this final section is the sense of direction. The episode clearly sets up Season 9 as a story about consequences catching up with people who believed they had outrun them. It promises deeper character exploration, higher emotional stakes, and challenges that cannot be solved by instinct alone. The familiar structure of the show remains, but the emotional weight beneath it feels stronger and more complex. By the time the episode closes, one truth is undeniable. Nothing will go back to how it was. Charlie's return has changed the balance, and Season 9 is ready to explore what happens when the past refuses to stay silent. The road ahead will demand honesty, resilience, and sacrifice. This premiere does not offer easy answers. It offers a warning. The story moving forward will ask more of its characters than ever before, and the cost of failure will be impossible to ignore. With the foundation set, Season 9 now stands at the edge of a much larger story, and Episode 1 makes it clear that everything ahead will be connected. The events introduced are not meant to be solved quickly or forgotten by the next case. Instead, they are designed to follow the characters, shaping their choices and reactions across the season. This creates a sense that the story is moving forward with purpose, not just momentum. Charlie's role going forward feels carefully positioned. She is no longer defined only by her past or her absence. She becomes a living reminder that unresolved choices always return in some form. Her presence challenges the team to evolve rather than remain comfortable. The episode suggests that Charlie will be central to future conflicts, not as a problem to fix, but as a perspective that forces difficult conversations and moral decisions. The team dynamic begins to take on a new shape. Familiar trust exists, but it now carries conditions. People listen more carefully. They hesitate before acting. This is not weakness. It is awareness. Season 9 presents this awareness as growth, showing that experience often brings caution instead of confidence. The characters are no longer just reacting to events. They are anticipating consequences. There is also a strong sense that the season will explore the cost of loyalty. The episode hints that standing by someone may come at a personal price, and that doing the right thing will not always feel good. These ideas are woven quietly into the story, making them feel natural rather than forced. The show invites the audience to consider what loyalty truly means when trust is incomplete. What makes this setup powerful is its emotional honesty. The episode does not pretend that healing is quick or simple. It acknowledges that pain lingers, even when people try to move forward. Charlie's return exposes that truth, and Season 9 appears ready to explore it fully. The story suggests that growth will come through confrontation, not avoidance. As the episode closes this chapter, it leaves the audience with a sense of anticipation rather than closure. Questions remain unanswered by design. Threats remain undefined but present. Relationships are intact but changed. This is the promise of Season 9, a season where every step forward requires reflection, every victory carries weight, and every choice matters. The story ahead is not about returning to what once was. It is about becoming something stronger, even if that strength comes at a cost. As Season 9 prepares to move beyond its opening chapter, Episode 1 quietly locks in the themes that will define everything ahead. The story is no longer driven by simple cause and effect. It is driven by memory, consequence, and the pressure of choices that were delayed rather than resolved. This episode makes it clear that the season will not rush its answers because the questions themselves are the point. Every mystery introduced is tied to a character, and every character carries something they would rather keep hidden. Charlie's place in the story now feels intentional and unavoidable. She is not positioned as someone who needs saving or explaining. She stands as proof that survival changes people in ways that cannot always be explained cleanly. Her return forces the team to confront a difficult truth. Understanding someone does not always mean agreeing with them. The season appears ready to explore that discomfort, showing how care and conflict can exist at the same time. The structure of the episode also signals a broader narrative shift. Cases will still be solved, but not without cost. Each investigation seems set to reveal something personal, something that pushes characters closer to the edges of their own limits. This approach makes the danger feel ongoing, not contained. The story suggests that threats will no longer end when a case closes. They will leave marks, both visible and emotional, that carry forward. What becomes especially clear is that Season 9 is asking its characters to grow in ways they have avoided before. Avoidance is no longer an option. Silence has consequences. The episode frames honesty as risky but necessary, implying that the greatest danger may come from what remains unsaid. This theme gives the season emotional weight, grounding the drama in human struggle rather than spectacle. The team's future now depends on balance. Not the old balance of routine and trust, but a new balance built on awareness.